Hello, Dexter Morgan.
We'd thought we said goodbye to Dexter, but it turns out this is only just the beginning. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review the brand new Dexter Original Sin. It is Season 1, it's Episode 1, and this one is called And In the Beginning. But before we get into this prequel, before we talk about it, seen a lot of reviews, a lot of mixed reviews, some negative, some positive. I actually enjoyed this premiere of Original Sin. Haven't seen Dexter New Blood. I know that got a lot of hate as well, but yeah, I mean, if the show continues the way the premiere started, then I think we could be looking at a decent series that could be better than some seasons of the original.
Absolutely. Now, as a person here watching it that hasn't seen New Blood and hasn't seen half the show, I think, you've got to go into it with an open mind, of course. But this is a prequel, right? And people need to realise with prequels, they can't go all out. Yeah, there's a characters we know here, right? It's like the younger versions of them, right? But, you're not going to get them dying, because they can't die. These people are still alive current day, or their death is later down the road. So they are limited in that sense. But I thought it was very good. I enjoyed it. But again, I can't really comment too much on the downfall of Dexter and how bad New Blood is, because I haven't seen it. You haven't seen New Blood.
Well, we started with the downfall because it seems like we got a shot from New Blood where Dexter was shot and we all thought he died, and it turns out that is not true. We know there's a brand new show coming out, Dexter Resurrection, and the beginning of Original Sin actually takes you forward and basically spoils that Dexter is indeed still alive and that he's not dead. And I guess the very start of this show sets up the possibility of a sequel.
Yeah, and a sequel that is labelled Dexter Resurrection. And of course, there was a trailer for that earlier on today released. We're not going to react to it. Let's just react to it right now, because it was literally 15 seconds long, and all it said was, coming summer 2025. So there ain't going to be a separate video on Dexter Resurrection, but I think it's a good thing that he's back. New Blood obviously didn't exactly work out, but for me, I don't know whether or not there's going to be a season 2 of that. Hopefully there ain't, because I don't think it makes sense having it when you've got Resurrection. But 2 new Dexter shows to get stuck into. So let's begin with how this began. And it is, in the beginning, Dexter in an ambulance getting sent to a local medical facility. A wee bit of CPR. The heart is brought back to life, and so is Michael C. Hall.
Yeah, Michael C. Hall's back narrating this show, and I'm glad that he is, because I get it, you can't have Michael C. Hall playing a 20-year-old Dexter. They tried that in the original Dexter and it just didn't work. It looked like some old guy in a wig. It looked really, really weird. Michael C. Hall is like almost, 20 years older now from the beginning of Dexter, so it would look even weirder, but I think it works. I think this Patrick Gibson, I think he done a decent job as Dexter, and with Michael C. Hall being the inner voice of Dexter, it almost brings the character to life, I think. I could not imagine it without Michael C. Hall now that we've got him. And I just don't think Patrick Gibson narrating the voices inside of his own head would be anywhere near as good. So if you can't have Michael C. Hall physically play Dexter, then I think having him narrate the inner voices of Dexter, that's about the next best thing you can get. So I'm happy that they've done it that way, and also happy with the cast. I think that I think the best 2 cast members were probably Deborah and Masuka. Maybe it's easier to try and portray them because of their foul mouth, and they've got these little certain antics that they have and stuff like that, mannerisms. But I think that those 2 characters stood out to me. Yeah, we had Angel Batista, but I mean, he didn't really do anything in this episode. He was kind of just there in the background, but he did look good. He wore the shirt, he kind of wore the hat. So I mean, it looked like Angel. You'd Harry Morgan, obviously, who is Harry Morgan. It's not played by the original Harry Morgan, but I thought Christian Slater done a decent job in there as well. And we had a couple of new characters in the form of Bobby Watt and Aaron Spencer, who I think did a pretty good part as well. Aaron Spencer seems to be the captain of the Homicide team. So yeah, I thought the actors did a pretty good job, and I've just seen a lot of negative reviews. But anyway, you're here for our review. Screw those negative reviews. It's time for Fog Entertainment to tell you how we feel about it.
Yeah, it's not going to be a negative review here, but Dexter is alive, and he's like, well, let's go into my past, because life flashes in front of your very eyes, and we go back down this corridor. And it's how the episode ended as well, with the whole down the corridor view, which I liked. So we're at a crime scene. We're in Miami. We've got the tunes. It's the early 90s. I mean, so I think sometimes this is cringe where it's like, right, we're in a time zone, we're in a time period, so let's just whip out the exact music that was playing at that exact year at that exact time. But we're here, crime scene, looks like there's a B&E going on, family members are dead. Tanya Martin, we're introduced to her straight away. CSI chief, we're introduced to Aaron Spencer. He wants answers. Are we going to get those answers? Big Harry working his magic. They were watching TV. It was on, but it was off. Let's get the remote. There's blood on the remote.
Yeah,
who could it be?
We've got Masuka there snapping shots. But see, when you look at like shows that are going back, prequels that are going back to the 80s and 90s, I always look at the clothing and the music and just everything about it. And I think it just looks a lot better than the current day stuff.
It had identity.
For me, people can argue, what generation's better? Would you rather live in the 2020s or would you rather live in like the 80s or 90s? And for me, it's like every time we see a show go back in time, like I just like the look, I like the set, and I like the sound. I just prefer everything.
No, I agree. I mean, honestly, I think the 2000s has its own vibe to it as well, but less of a vibe compared to the 90s and 80s. You look at like the 2010s. What prequel's going to be ever set in the 2010s?
Yeah, it's like I know there's no. I don't think you're ever going to go back to. There's just nothing stands out about them. It's just very bland, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you said, these other decades seem to have their own identity. I mean, well, in years to come, will this current decade that we're in, will that form an identity? But look at the identity. What is the identity of 2024?
Woke.
People twerking, people being woke, people identifying as a million different gender. Is that it?
Yeah, we're not going to have Harry Morgan.
No, we're not going to have Harry
Slater walking around.
We're not going to have Harry Morgan. We see Dexter. He's at med school and he's cutting into a body, but there's no blood. And I guess Harry thought this would be enough to, that appetite of Dexter. It would fill the appetite.
Sort the urge out.
Yeah, but it's not working. Dexter is cutting into these bodies. It's not really the same thing. Dexter wants real bodies, real people, real blood, real stuff.
Smile, Dex. Smile makes you happy.
Yeah.
What makes him happy? Well, not much makes Dexter happy, but he manages to get a smile about something here. And we later find out that Dexter likes to watch WrestleMania. That may be skipping ahead in the future, but did you think Dexter was a WrestleMania fan?
Well, no, but when they're calling him a geek in a nerd all episode, then I think it makes sense that they point out that here you are a wrestling fan. Although I would argue that watching the wrestling back in this time period, it wasn't as nerdy and geeky and sad as it is watching wrestling in 2024.
Absolutely not. Absolutely, but it just shows you that even back then it was considered a wee bit geeky.
Yeah, it is. The first sit down with the Morgan family, I thought it was good. You got Deborah, obviously in her foul mouth. You got Harry Morgan there, just trying to protect what's left of his family. And you got Dexter just sitting awkwardly. Deborah talks about the cow and having steak, I guess, and says, hey, you should have could have killed it first. And I guess Harry likes his steak raw.
Well, he likes it blue. I don't like it blue. I like it somewhere in the middle. I don't mind it a wee bit pink, but I mean, come on, this did literally look like the cow was still alive. No.
Yeah. And can you see already that Harry? Not that he favours Dexter, but he just seems more concerned about Dexter, doesn't he? And rightfully so.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though he could argue,
got no secrets.
Even though he could argue, like as a father, like maybe he should be more worried about his daughter and her, like smoking and wanting to drink and go to parties and all this stuff. But Harry doesn't even fucking see that.
No.
So she basically says Dexter tells Harry about this party. Deborah says that she's going. She says, look, let's avoid the small talk. You're going to say I'm not going to go. I'm going to go anyway. And the world's not going to end. And Harry is like, no, I don't mind if you go. Just take Dexter with you. So he doesn't...
What? What the fuck?
It's not even like he wants Dexter to go to look after his sister. It's more he wants fucking Deborah to take Dexter to try and get Dexter to socialise and fit in and be around with the cool kids.
Will he be around with it? Well, I mean, he ain't a cool kid, but he has to fit in. He has to learn basic emotions. He has to learn how to fit in, what to say, what to do. But I mean, be honest. At this party, what does Dexter do? He literally just sits on the couch and gets secondhand smoke going in his face.
That is pretty much it. Deborah starts drinking, goes up to a room with some guy. Deborah's friend comes down, a bit concerned about her. Dexter then runs up to save the day, bashes through the door. You got Deborah passed out. Some guy looks like he's maybe about to jump on top of the bed, so Dexter throws him down the stairs. We get into a bit of a fight here. You can already see that in the original Dexter. Dexter's a guy that can certainly handle himself, even when he got into physical combat with Dokes, who was a a legit fighter. Dexter was more than a match. So
Hey, he's going to batter this guy every day of the week.
yeah, we can see that Dexter already at this point. He might be a nerd and he might be a geek and awkward, but it's not like he sits at home and he does those geeky things.
He must have learned these at WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. And Dexter, WrestleMania is going to live forever. Dexter's going to live forever. He ain't going to lose to this guy. Beats him up, gets a bloody nose, and then he goes to possibly reach for this knife and get his first kill of the series. But Deborah then pushes Dexter off this guy, and they both get kicked out the house party. Deborah initially is mad with Dex, but then Dex explains the situation and she forgives him, gives him a hug.
Yeah, gives him a hug. I mean, I think maybe the relationship between Deborah and Dexter is pretty much strained from the get-go in this show, but it's a teenager and a 20-year-old. That's what it's always going to be.
Why was Masuka not at this party? That's what I want to know.
Well, why was Masuka not at this party? But speaking of Masuka, we did get introduced to him earlier in the episode, but Dexter gets introduced to him at some, fair, where it's like a sample thing of what job you could get at your college, and basically we just see Masuka taking pictures of everybody, and I say everybody, the women.
Yeah, he's taking pictures of these women. He's like, here, do you want me to show you this, show you that? And they're not really interested. Then Dexter's trying to talk about some of the photographs, some of the crime scenes that are in the background, but Masuka's not really interested in Dexter. He tells him to move out the way, you're cock blocking me here. Then we get some goth chick that is looking on, and she's walking past, and Masuka says, do you want me to show you my 9-inch nail? And she just walks off, and Masuka calls her a poser. I really like the dialogue from Masuka in this episode. This wee guy plays him down to a part. I think if this guy shaved his head, it would actually look like the real Masuka.
Yeah, I mean, he's got everything. I think he's probably the best. I think him and Deborah, as you said earlier, I think the foul mouth is probably the easier thing to manage. I mean, who would you say this entire episode did the best?
I think Masuka.
Who's the worst?
Well, I mean, I'd probably say Angel maybe, but he didn't. I think he looked good. He just didn't. Did he even have words? He may have had one or two lines. A bit of dialogue here, a bit of dialogue there.
Yeah, but obviously Batista at this stage of the games, I don't know how long he's been in the force, but he's probably very raw. There's a lot of guys above him.
I don't think anybody did bad, I'll put it that way. But I do think Masuka was the standout.
No, I think Masuka was the standout as well, but I thought he rubber-deered Dexter here. Turns out he actually took these things into his wee brain because he heard Dexter talk about the pictures, just didn't acknowledge it.
He was too busy looking at it for the women.
Absolutely, but we will go on a hunting trip, won't we?
Yeah, we all go on a hunting trip after they come home from the party. Dexter and his dad go on a hunting trip, hoping to try and stop that urge for Dexter. But Dexter admits to his father that the hunting trips don't do anything for him anymore.
I need to do more.
I need to kill. I need a person. Harry though tells Dexter once you kill someone, you can never take that back. But it's the same thing for an animal, isn't it? I mean, if Dexter goes out and kills a boar and feels bad about it, he can't exactly just rewind time and the boar's alive. Yeah,
and then what we see here is pretty much Dexter's like, yeah, I need to kill more. But then Harry's arse goes.
Yeah, Harry takes a heart attack. Now, is it the realisation that he's creating a monster, he's creating a killer here? Or is it the bad lifestyle that Harry's living at this point in time? Could be a bit of both. Harry is rushed to the ER. He is taken in. And we basically see the doctor from the original Dexter that was slowly killing Harry. So she's giving Harry, and I don't even think she doesn't reveal what she's injecting him with, but we see that after Deb and Dexter go to visit their father, Dexter's still struggling to show emotion. Deborah's annoyed that she never got to say goodbye in the morning. She never got to say I love him, and Dexter's thinking, I never said that either.
What did you make of see this scene with the hunting scene? Was this not also in the original show? I'm pretty sure I can vividly remember Dexter, Michael C. Hall wearing a wig on a hunting trip.
Probably did. I think it could have been noticed.
What I liked about this though is we also seen a bit more backstory into Harry, in that how his original son in the original Sin show drowned in the swimming pool.
Yeah, so which I never even knew.
Which maybe explains why he's a bit more protective of Dexter.
Possibly. I didn't even know Harry had a son, or had a son before Dexter. But you think this would maybe be revealed. It's strange that Dexter and Deborah, like you think of all the things that they go through, and especially you look at Deborah and she goes back in the family tree and all the investigation that she does into her father in the original show. It's like, it's crazy to think they didn't know they had, or maybe they did know and they just didn't decide to mention it.
Yeah, see, maybe...
Or could this be with a different, was this with a different woman maybe?
Maybe they'll find it in Original Sin, and therefore there's no real need to talk about it. And
yeah, that's a possibility.
But that's the problem you've got with these prequels. It's like you have to go off the current timeline, and then how much do you reveal the fact that they're actually being idiotic about not to talk about things like that?
And then any new things that you add, you're always wondering why was that never once brought up in the original show. But anyway, yeah, we do see that, and then we get the woman, the doctor. She is slowly killing Harry day by day,
and she's got her own trophies.
Yeah,
she's got the newspaper cutouts. Dexter managed to figure that out himself.
After he bought a new, smart for Dexter, that he managed to he bought a newspaper. And because Dexter used the same tactic as this. Well, not exactly the same tactic, but we've seen earlier when he's got like this fucking adult magazine as a decoy, but inside of it he's got all these like serial killer
John Wayne Gacy,
all these serial killer clippings and stuff like that. And then Deborah walks in when he's obviously, and he closes it because he doesn't want her to see the serial killings, and it just looks like he's reading an adult mag. So I mean, Dexter and this doctor here kind of have the same thing going on.
He doesn't want it. He only wants pain. Harry wants the pain. Here comes the pain. He looked like John Cena in the original. Doesn't look like him in this one, but you know what? Here comes the pain. Harry wants all the pain. He doesn't want the injections. He wants to live.
Yeah, so Dexter stops the doctor from giving the injections. He said he needs it. And then Harry's like, no, I want to feel the pain. Give me the pain. And she says that, okay, your doctor ain't going to be happy about this. The real doctor. So, yeah, Dexter then talks to Harry, and Harry says, you got to stop her. You got to stop her from giving me more of that stuff, Dexter. And Dexter finds out through his med school teacher that the stuff that she is injecting into Harry will slowly kill him, but it's not going to be traced. So that's why she's getting away with this. She's able to inject this into people and it slowly kills them, but it doesn't actually leave a trace in the body. And God knows how long she's been doing this, but Dexter does break into her house and he goes through like this like notepad basically that she's got, like a book of killings. She's got her own kill book. And he sets up the kill room, plastic. She comes home, walks in, Dexter attacks her, struggles, gets her on the table. She claims that she was helping people by putting them out their misery, essentially, but Dexter doesn't really believe that. Meanwhile, Deborah is playing her volleyball game in high school. Dexter said he would show up, but obviously he's not showed up because he's too busy killing. Getting his first kill of the series, which is more important, I think, than seeing Deborah score a few points.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think Deborah's team wins in the end, but she is going to hold this against Dexter, but Dexter puts the nurse out of her misery, and it's his first kill.
Yeah,
what was better, Original Sin or Dexter?
I don't know, because in Dexter just focused on that, but in this it was intervening between Deborah and Dexter, and then you've got the announcer
Deborah for the kill, or no, Morgan for the kill.
Yeah, it's Morgan scores points, and then it's Dexter. He's like Morgan for the kill, and it was, I don't know, I thought it was a little bit funny there. So I mean, but I think both scenes were good from the original and Original Sin.
Yeah, so you can kind of see how this has been labelled as like a remake almost, because you are getting a lot of scenes that are remade. But I thought this was pretty good. His first kill. Boom.
I mean, that's the one criticism I did see of the opening episode. Just people saying it was rehashed and they've wasted all these characters and basically just telling the same story that we already know. But I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Just because you're showing some things, it's like that could just be trying to tie certain things up. Because I think I'm not sure. I don't think that's what the whole show's going to be. But in the original Dexter, it's made clear that this nurse is Dexter's first kill. So I think that
it only makes sense to show that in their prequel.
Yeah, I mean, Dexter can't really go killing. I don't think it would make sense for him to go kill. I think it's like a good idea for them to actually start this show with his first kill.
Like, it also showed you at the beginning, like, his mother giving birth to him. We've already seen that.
Yeah, but
it's still a good thing to show.
I think in the remaining 9 episodes, I don't think they're going to show just like repeats of what we've seen in the original. I think that was just in the premiere to try and set it up, build a foundation.
No, I agree.
So I know people are complaining about that. But it is what it is. Harry then looks a lot better since he's not being injected anymore. He gets taken out of hospital. He's getting wheeled out. Deborah's making fun of Dexter, and he was the way he was at his graduation. She actually showed up despite being angry with him. She showed up to his graduation, even though he didn't show up to her volleyball team. And they take Harry Morgan home. Harry has gone back to House Morgan.
And again, I remember this scene where he was getting spun around town in the Dexter original show. We also had scenes where the police force, they dropped off food, but they all fucked it in the bin anyway. And Masuka and then Tanya basically said, Dexter,
I didn't get that scene. I mean,
because the food's unhealthy, but I thought it was a pretty dick move. They could have had it.
Yeah, but that was before Harry got out.
Yeah.
Was it not?
No, it was.
So and Dexter was eating the donuts and muffins.
I don't know. But, he disposed of the body at the Crocodile Creek, and, Harry has a wee cry to himself later that night after he's released. But, anyway, a bit of time has passed because he shaved the hair, or maybe he just decided to shave the hair for the new job, I don't know. But
yeah, he got off
Harry's
the new job.
back. Dexter arrives in the building for the first time. Pretty great scene. Now, I've already reacted to this sneak peek on YouTube, on our channel, so you take it away. What was your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it was great. Harry's coming back. Harry gets welcomed by all of his colleagues, and Dexter's just kind of standing there looking on. He's going, oh, my dad's got all these friends, and I've got nothing. But in comes Vince Masuka, and he's like, oh, welcome, newbie. I'm going to show you around. Dexter, once again, gets to meet Tanya, who we find out is the head of the forensics. So, yeah, she meets her, then Masuka takes them into their little room. I guess this is the office that they're going to share.
You notice how different the room is, though?
Aye.
I bet you Dexter is the guy that puts in motion to have it a bit more secluded.
Oh, absolutely. Aye, it's too open.
It's far too open.
Way too open.
Dokes would have had a field day with this room.
Yeah, even there's no blinds or nothing. It's just Dexter will be. I think he'll be personalising this and getting it nice and confined and hidden away. And
but what I liked about this episode as well is you've also got the fact that zoomed out, it mirrored the start of the episode. You also have the storyline where the cops are going after the serial killer guy, Mad Dog. He got arrested. I mean, not exactly the greatest storyline ever, but I like that. It's a lot of Hings paying homage to the original show. But that's pretty much it. I thought it was pretty good. Was it fantastic? No. Was it bad? No. I do not understand why there's so many negative reviews. For me, it's a straight down the 7 out of 10 alley. I'll give it a 7.
I'm going to get an 8. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I liked it, and hopefully the rest of the episodes can continue.
But do you not think, though, right? I understand why people can think it's just a remake being rehashed, right? But considering how much flashback stuff there was in Dexter, should they not utilise that?
Yeah, I think it'd be dumb if they didn't.
It's like Game of Thrones, right? Look how much stuff they talked about in the past for the Mad King. You see if they did a prequel, right? You would want all of it to stay true. It's the same with Better Call Saul. You wanted all the stuff that they said in Breaking Bad to be in it. It's the same with Sons of Anarchy. See all the stuff about the first 9 and things before. You want it to stay true to what the actual characters in the OG show said. See this? Oh, we don't want it. We want to change the scenes up. Why the fuck would Original Sin actually changed what happened from the original show?
Yeah, they've got all these foundations that they can build on from the original show. Why would they just scrap them?
Yeah.
Plus, it would compromise the original show if they didn't include certain things, like we said about Dexter's first kill. If Dexter starts killing people in this show and we don't see the nurse, it's gonna take away from that.
Absolutely.
So anyway, guys, I liked it. I give it an 8. You give it a 7. It's 7.5 out of 10. We will react to the sneak peek for episode 2. I think the promo is out for that. And,
Kid in a candy shop.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts down below. We'll catch you in the next one. Being Fog Entertainment. Thanks for watching and peace.